Hey, it's the Star Goddess podcast right here on the Crash and AJ blog at 98rock.com and on the free iHeartRadio app this morning.
Yay.
Good morning, Janet.
Good morning, sir.
So we had you on the FM this morning, and now it's time for a little post-show podcast action here. As far as the theme this week, where are we?
Well, we have last week, Jupiter, the planet of luck, was in Pisces. The sun was in Pisces. On Wednesday, we have the new moon in Pisces. So it means new starts. And people are going, well, where am I going to have these new starts, Star Goddess? And it's sort of the same ones, the type and variety that you were thinking about last May and June that kind of fell by the wayside, just didn't come to be. Mm-hmm. Now is the time for that to come to be because you have more information at hand and the energy is there to actually put something into motion. So, and it depends on where in your chart you have Pisces, depends on what area of your life you're going to be putting stuff in motion. So, and that's why I'm here, to help.
So over the next,
Next 5 days, yeah.
Yeah, as far as the podcast goes, you're going to go over, how that applies to each sign.
One of the signs.
And so make sure you listen up for your sign.
That's right.
All right.
So we're going to start with Pisces because that is the sign that we are in. And for Pisces everywhere, this is their best new start in 12 years, literally across the board. The last time they had opportunities as good as the ones that are in front of them was in the 2010 time span. And so they can kind of look back and see the things that happened then and go, how did I capitalize on that? Or the alternative is, how did I miss that energy and what can I do right this time to make that happen? And so this is not the kind of energy that lasts forever. This energy is only going to last until May or so. So you really want to be proactive about it. You've been, holding off and waiting to pull the trigger. Whatever happened in December is done. And that you have enough information now to go forward with and not to be afraid. And that's in new personal relationships, new professional relationships. It's just a great new start all the way across the board for Pisces, and you have to like that. So they've largely needed a break because they haven't had one in forever. So
how does this tie into the thing that's going on in the Ukraine right now?
I'd like to think that there is some sort of preliminary resolution that will come on Wednesday or so. Okay. I don't think it really kind of stops for another week or so until Mars and Venus gets into Aquarius, which is Zelensky's sun sign. So I don't think that happens till next week, but I think that there will be, I think that you will see some consequence to their action on Wednesday of this week. So today is the worst day. If you're going to have a bad day, today's the day.
All right.
Because the moon's in Aquarius. But I think that by Wednesday, I don't want to say cooler heads prevail, but something new comes to light that changes that one way or the other.
Gotcha.
So I don't think it's World War III.
Good.
I don't think anybody's. Yeah, I don't think anybody's firing nukes off either. This does not strike me as nuclear energy going off. That's not what a new moon in Pisces and Jupiter in Pisces kind of means. So, I think that's good news for them. For Aries, this energy is all about taking a little bit of a step back, reevaluating things. When Jupiter is behind your sign, you kind of want to finish things up. You don't want to start new things. And I can give you an example of that is Ali Marpet?
Yeah. Marpet,
yeah, he's an Aries saying, I don't want to get hit in the head anymore. And I can't really blame him. It's a good time for them to take a step back and go, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next. I know what I'm not going to do.
Right.
It's the kind of thing with Aries. They know what they don't want to do. Yeah. And so it's finishing stuff up.
His father said, I mentioned earlier in the show, I saw an article where his father was saying that his son has a really strong inner voice. And it kind of, he feels like he's achieved some goals in this department.
Yeah.
Time to achieve some goals in this department.
The moment Tom Brady said, I'm not coming back, he's like, okay, I could stay here and get hit in the head a couple of more years for what? I already got my Pro Bowl thing. I've already got my Super Bowl thing. I've got a boatload of money. And I'd like to be able to not drool in my 30s,
28 years old. I mean,
yeah. And there's definitely life after football if you can think. And I think that concussion last year really made him go, hold on here.
That's what I was just about to say. And he's got an interesting family. I've seen his dad was a fashion photographer.
Yeah.
His mom is into music. You saw some of the...
they looked around and went, where did you come from?
Yeah. He's like, you got this big old dude.
Competitive as heck. Yeah. So, but for Aries everywhere, it's a good time just to take a step back, do a little bit of reevaluation. It's not going to be a step back forever. Yeah. And it's a matter really so they can quiet things down and listen to themselves to sort through to figure out where they want to put their competitive energy next because they're about the most competitive sign that there is. So, so it's good news for them just to take a step back and to be a little more objective.
Gotcha.
For Tauruses, this is great energy for Taurus. Yay! They get to achieve a long-standing hope, wish, goal, or objective, and the group helps them get there. I think we get good ratings is what that kind of means,
Oh,
personally.
well, we did last week, so cha-ching.
I do. I think, but I think that bodes well for the Tauruses achieving a goal or objective. I don't know if you get paid extra for that, but it's a nice way for Tauruses to say, I was on the right path. I made a lot of hard decisions. Last year was not the easiest year I've ever had. This year looks a lot easier for Tauruses, and this energy should be what encourages them, to say, I think I got a handle on this.
Nice.
Which is something they haven't been able to say for a long time.
Very much so.
Saturn in Aquarius wasn't good to Tauruses. Last year, Jupiter in Aquarius, not particularly good to Tauruses. Jupiter in Pisces, much better for Taurus. So I would say that they find some hope,
That's
which
great.
is something for them to look forward to.
Yeah.
So it's good energy for them. For Geminis, this energy is in the 10th house of career and public standing. And for Geminis everywhere, they're going, I am overwhelmed. I have a lot of work. I have a lot of stuff going on. I'm not sure I can do all of it. And yet the Gemini is not going to quit. The Gemini is going to try and find a way to accommodate everybody. And I don't think that's going to get a great result for them.
Weren't we
So-
just talking about this in the studio, AJ,
Yeah.
like 10 minutes
There
ago?
is a thing going on. Yeah. So, how do you suggest from that vantage point, Star Goddess, that the Gemini handles that?
If I was the Gemini, I would say, sure, I'll do all of this, but I need a little bit of help to do it.
There you
And
go.
next week is when they get that little bit of help to do that.
Yeah.
Fingers
So-
crossed, making moves.
It's that type of thing when it's, and again,
funny here.
Geminis, they did so well the last 2 years. The eclipse cycle was in their sign. They made a huge amount of changes in their life. And now the impact of that professionally is where they've realized that they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. So, but they get that relief next week. The big challenge is living through this week. That's really the big challenge with that. Is
Buckle up
getting,
then. All right, I'm ready.
is getting through this week.
Put on your helmet.
Yeah, exactly. So, for Cancers, and I think it's interesting, the United States is a Cancer, and this energy is in the 9th house of long distance travel. Important matters at a distance go very favorably for Cancers. They either do some sort of travel, they do some sort of communication. The law's on their side, and when the law's on your side, Cancer, you really want to use it. So it's some sort of important legal, educational, or important matter gets resolved very favorably this week for the Cancer. So you kind of have to like that.
Yeah.
That's not bad news at all. I mean, legal things go very well. And they find that they're in partnership with somebody else. The resources that they share with others have come into play over the last couple of weeks or so. And now they find out that they have a solid basis for going forward with that. So it's really very, very good news for Cancers.
Wow.
Hopefully a success in dealing with all this.
I hope so. And I hope that there's a favorable outcome,
Yeah.
for all of the parties involved, and that we look good while we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping
not
for.
afraid of this whole thing just going away. All of a sudden, everybody agreeing, which that's not.
Yeah,
gonna
it's not going to
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it may not be a train this time. So I think that's good.
Do you know what Ukraine? What is their astrological sign?
It's kind of hard to tell. They were born 30 years ago, so they're at their Saturn return, which is a time of putting away of childish things. They were born when Russia collapsed.
Right.
So I don't have the day of their parliament, because that's sort of like what it is whenever the Constitution
Okay.
is established. Because and I don't know, I couldn't find that
It does
information.
make it a little confusing when you have a country that's seceded
Used to be
away
one
from-
thing, exactly. And I don't know whether it's the day they took their first vote or when they signed their Constitution,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
You did bring up the fact that their leader.
I'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah, you got that coming.
I will. I'll get to him. I'm saving him for last. For Leos, the sign that we are in right now, I have to laugh. Jupiter and the Sun and the Moon are all in the 8th house of other people's resources flowing your way. Unearned income, insurance, inheritance, that kind of a thing. All very favorable monetary times for Leos right about now. Again, it's not going to last forever. It only lasts another week or two. But while they're at it, they have the financial hammer. When you have that financial hammer, you want to go ahead and use
I
it.
don't have a hammer. I like a financial.
Yeah,
hammer.
me too. If you're going to have one.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of hammers
another
out
hammer to have. I mean,
Financial and legal, those two are pretty good. But also something new comes to light that enables the Leo to heal from their psyche, not their body, because the 8th house is sort of your psyche. It's your fears as well. And something comes to light that allays their fears. Whatever it was they were afraid of either goes away or it's not going to happen.
That's kind of making sense.
So it's very, very good energy for Leo. And after that, man, they're going to light their hair on fire and run around the room.
All right.
Literally. So,
I don't have
and
any hair, but I can find.
but if you did, you would light it on
I
fire.
have my COVID hair that I've kept in a bag. I could actually light that hair on fire.
But it's very favorable for Leo. Something, whenever I think of Leo during this energy, I just see them like wiping their forehead going, whew, I'm glad that's done.
Man,
You know, that kind of thing.
That is hitting home, Janet.
You know, that's that kind of energy. So it's good energy.
Well,
For Virgo, the sun is in the 7th house of partnerships, intimate one-to-one relationships. And I think that's important because our new Supreme Court nominee is a Virgo.
Oh.
You know, and she's going to find out pretty quick, you know, who likes her and who doesn't like her kind of deal. But I think at the end of the day, it's very favorable for Virgo that they have good PR on that. Their press goes really, really well. You know, and they pick up new partners one way or the other. And I have to laugh because she's an African-American married to a white guy and the other African-American is married to a white girl. You know, so it kind of like balances it out.
wow.
You know, I think that's kind of interesting too. You know,
That whole process of getting picked and put on the Supreme Court.
yeah.
Yeah.
There can't be too much. There ain't no bones in the closet. Ain't gonna be
No, that aren't going to be found. And
Yeah.
and I don't think she has any bones to be found. That's the
crazy.
thing. You know, because
Everybody's got
everybody's got something. I do not think, in this case, I do not think this Virgo does.
Well, I
I
was going
think,
to be on the Supreme Court, but I had too much bones in my closet.
yeah,
Not today.
not today for me either. Golly. But I think it's very favorable. Their PR is very good. Their public image looks really good. Ron DeSantis this weekend was, you know, CPAP telling everybody how fabulous he is and why he should be president. That kind of energy, you know, is what that is. And there's nobody really to stop them. That's the nice thing. You know, so it's very favorable for them. For Libra, this is rough energy for Leo. For Libra, this energy is in their 6th house of work and responsibilities. And
Wait a minute. Isn't that Coach Aries?
yeah, he sure is. He sure is. He sure is. And see, what I think is going to happen there, this is my own personal opinion, because he's a Libra with a moon in Aries, and Blaine Gabbard is a Libra with a moon in Aries. You know, their Mercuries are in the same sign, and we tend to hire people who remind us of us, you know, that kind of thing. And I think that, I genuinely think that, and I could be so off base with this, but I really think that they're going to say, yeah, we're going to play this guy. We're going to keep him because, you know, we've had him for a while, and, you know, he's studied under the best, and if he chokes, we'll bring Tom back in October. Is what I think they're going to do, honestly.
People kind of scoff at the thought of Blaine Gabbert, but I've actually
I'd
got to
rather-
watch him because I was drafted by Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this guy's looks like he's got all the talent. He just never had 8 coordinators in 8 years in the league. So I mean, he's never had a team this good to work with.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, and I think it leaves room in the salary cap to keep all the other guys that you need.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I think that that's very likely.
All right.
So, but work and responsibilities for Librans everywhere. And again, this is not the easiest of energy for them, as Putin's about to find out. Yeah, bit off, I think, more than he could chew. So I will go past that. But for Libras everywhere, it's about work, health, and responsibilities. So if I was him, I wouldn't drink
They're
anything
beautiful
that.
people.
Yes, and they are. They're drop
Just
dead
ask
good.
Putin. He'll tell you.
He'll be happy to tell you. God, that guy. Whew. I think he is sorely. I think he is sorely misjudged
I think so
this
too.
particular action. I think that he's got a moon in Gemini, and Donald Trump's a Gemini, and those guys were buddy for the last 2. You know, they've been buddy since I think he bought him.
This was
pretty
in
much.
1985.
Yeah, no, this.
2022.
Yeah.
So much more can be seen by the world with all the internet.
It
and
makes
all
such a huge
Yeah.
difference. You can't do this in secret. And it's
Yeah.
sort of like everybody knew it was going to happen because, you know, we told everybody, our spies figured out it was going to happen. You know, I just think it's a big miscalculation on his part. And I think he thought that they were just going to roll over, you know, and that really kind of hasn't. Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. But you know, you hit him in the pocketbook, and that's where the difference is. Yeah, you hit him in the financial pocketbook. So, and I love the hackers. I love our American hackers and hackers all over the world are going, ooh, can we play? You know, and they are. You know, and that's what makes it so different. I mean, yeah, and he's rolling tanks across, and tanks are so, you know, Cold War, last millennium, you know, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, that seems like this is an archaic way of getting what you, even in this world, like the weapons and everything like that. It seems like all that's overkill when you got so many different ways to communicate.
Yeah. So many
Yeah.
different ways you can do things,
Unless you're
and
just a bad
again,
communicator.
you know, it's exactly. So I don't know. My sense on all of this is that if something horrible doesn't happen today, we take steps towards resolving it this week, and by next week, when Mars and Venus both leave Capricorn and get into Aquarius is when you'll see it ending. So, and I think it ends favorably for the Ukrainians. I don't think it ends badly. I think the only person it ends badly for is Putin, quite honestly. And I couldn't think it happened to a nicer guy. So, at any rate, for Scorpios, this energy, which our president is a Scorpio, is in the 5th house. So I want to have fun. I want to be creative. I want to have a good time. They've sort of come out of their dark night of their soul kind of thing. And they find that Biden's done really great on the world stage, all of a sudden looking like a leader, that kind of thing, rallying everybody. But for Scorpios everywhere, it's about love, it's about creativity, it's about children, it's about finding a way to take your creativity and then unleash it and create new things. So new things as far as children of the mind and new things as far as children of the body, too. So Scorpios everywhere got to be careful with the stuff that they create, because the stuff they create this week is going to end up taking a life of its own. And that can be where you have an idea and something that you do that's fun for you to do, and you think, ooh, I can turn this into a job.
Yeah.
It's that kind of a thing. But it's whatever it is that they create this week is going to be bigger than they thought it was going to be, and can end up taking on a life of their own. So they got to be careful with what they create.
Probably a little easier for him to look like a leader with something that everybody's unified on.
Yeah, easy to do. It's not even here. Sort of like.
You ask about masks, then that's a whole different.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything there,
Exactly.
then it's a big minutia. But
Yeah.
Everybody's in
I
agreement.
have to laugh at the truckers that are showing up. It's like, dude, you're a day late and $1 short. That stuff's all over. You should have done that last year.
Yeah.
That kind of deal. For Sagittarius, this energy is in the. It's in their 4th house of home, their home and their foundations. There is something occurs this week for Sagittarians and their rising signs that solidifies their home and foundations. It's something that they can say, this is stable, this is a strong base of support, I can go forward with this. So, and something new comes to light that they did not know before that frees them up in some way, is the only way to describe it.
Wow,
So.
that matches up with my Leo.
Yeah, and your rising sign.
That does match up.
Yeah, home and foundations. And you want to solidify them, nail them down, and they'll be good to go. And then you won't have to worry about it for another 12 years or so,
Nice.
which is a fairly cool thing. Yeah, because I think the most important thing is to have a solid base of operations to operate out of. That no matter how good you are, if you don't have that,
Right.
if you don't have that kind of supported home, and that's what the Sagittarian has been looking for. And that also tells me I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere, because doesn't he live there?
I'm not sure
In
where.
Green Bay?
I know that he spent a little time in Colorado. I know he's been spending the time in, I guess, where in his.
Got a girlfriend in
Apparently,
L.A.
His fiance, they broke up, but it looks like, from what I saw this morning, that they're trying to maybe work.
Yeah, what's going on with that? They're, again, New Moon in Pisces. Yeah, there's somebody else, Jason Momoa, too, and Lisa Bonet.
Yeah.
Kind of getting back together again. Yeah. So,
You think he's going to stay in Green Bay?
no.
No.
No, yes, I do. I don't think he's leaving. I think he's going to stay in Green Bay.
Okay.
I think Russell Wilson's going to stay in Seattle. I think Jimmy G's leaving.
I mean, it would take a lot in order to get anybody from, Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks. And
Yeah.
remember last year, the Bears made a huge attempt at trying to get Russell Wilson, who wanted to go to Chicago.
And-
They offered, 3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and 2 starters just to get Russell Wilson. And the Seahawks turned that one down. So could you imagine the Bucs were trying to go after him, what they would have to offer up?
Well, he's a Sagittarian, too, so I don't think, like Aaron Rodgers, I don't think either one of them are going anywhere. I think they're going to dig in at home.
We're going to be finding out pretty soon here with that way the whole landscape is. So I would say within the next 2 weeks.
Actually, starting next week,
Yeah.
when Venus and Mars leave Capricorn, that's when the money talks are over.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that they're going to do finance. And I feel that same way about baseball, too, Major League Baseball, that whatever the money thing is, as soon as Mars leaves Capricorn next week and gets into Aquarius, is when they'll go, okay, now we're going to go forward with it.
Draft's in
So-
April, too, so they want to get.
Yeah, you got to get that show on the road. Yeah, we got to know what we're doing, so. For Capricorns, this energy is in their 3rd house of day-to-day living and short-distance, short-duration travels. Capricorns, they made a bunch of money last month. They're all doing great with that. Now they want to travel, and this is not like going to Mars or anything like that. This is a short-distance, short-duration kind of travel trip. There may be some educational opportunities for Capricorns to increase their knowledge about the world, and this is not like getting a PhD or going back and getting a master's degree. This is some sort of short-term certificate kind of program that enables them to make more money. It doesn't change their job, but it gives them an opportunity to make more money at the job that they're doing. I don't know how to say it other than that.
It can make a load of a difference. I mean, the fact that some people are just not going to college and they're getting these technical degrees and stuff like that.
Oh my God, you make $140,000 a year starting out as an air traffic controller. And these are
You're
kids that
working
played
instantly.
video games.
Yeah, you're working, right?
You know, yeah, working right away, making a boatload of, yeah, we're in the wrong field, for sure. if I had to do it again, I would learn coding. I would do that in a flash, because it's a language.
Right.
You know, it's just not that hard. I would do that. And I think Capricorns are going to be taking advantage of that. They're going to be looking at opportunities for them to increase their knowledge about the world and then apply it to make it easier for them to live their lives. So, and then for Aquarians, the last sign of the zodiac, Zelensky is the Ukrainian head, and that guy is an Aquarius with a moon in Leo. He was born at the full moon. And this invasion kind of started at the full moon 2 weeks ago, is when that stuff started, you know, to happen for him. And I think that Aquarians everywhere are realizing it's always about the money. It's about them making more money, and this whole dispute with that is over money, is what it is. But Aquarians, they secure their financial future this week with whatever kind of actions they've taken. So,
Really?
yeah.
You could have left that place.
And the reason I think that gets resolved next week is this guy is an Aquarian, and he's an early Aquarian. He's a January Aquarian. And so when Mars and Venus both go into Aquarius next week, I think that fight is over then, like next Wednesday or Thursday. Not this one, but the following one. And he comes out ahead with money. So you have to like that.
I hope so.
I think Putin will be looking for a new job. That stuff in the 6th house of work and responsibility.
About coding.
Yeah.
I want to see Putin on LinkedIn. Going,
Yeah, there you go.
"Hey."
I'd like a new job. My brother said that they should create a place called Dictator Island, you know, where all the dictators go and they get to live on their island and not bother anybody else, keep their money.
I
And
mean, realistically, that would be the only other place for him, because who wants to hire him?
nobody.
You know?
Yeah, no,
Could
I'd
you
be,
imagine that?
honestly, when you talk about Libras having Jupiter and Mercury and all those guys in the 6th house of work, I'd be really careful what I ate. I'd make sure I had a food taster or something, because he's been known to poison his enemies, and I kind of think you live by the sword, you die by the sword kind of deal. And I think that his own people will sort of end that for him.
Okay.
So we shall see.
There you go. Star
Interesting
guys.
time to see.
We'll see what happens here. We got another week till another podcast.
There you
Who
go.
knows- Who knows what's going to transpire between now and then?
That's the beauty of doing a weekly podcast, is stuff changes all the time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you get a hold of us on the iHeartRadio app. All
That's right. If you haven't downloaded it yet, boom! It's an easy way to get these podcasts with the auto download. Just go to search your store, download the iHeartRadio app, and then you just put in the search bar, Crash and AJ,
Super
boom! Not only will all of our podcasts appear, but there's that auto download section. Just makes it easy
Nice.
to go ahead and download it right to your
Yep.
phone.
There you go.
All right, Star Guys.
Always a
podcast
pleasure.
For this week, we'll see you next week right here on 98rock.com.